What's up, everyone? Well, we're back here for round 3 with our mass market ficus. The only thing I've done to this since the last video was to remove the wire, and I don't remember exactly when that happened, but it was definitely at least a month ago. So it's been 4 or 5 months since the last time I worked on this, and it's been in my greenhouse growing happily in this container straight through the winter. And that has gotten me some pretty good starts on vigorous branches here. So it's time to really get in here and look at the structure again and see if I'm headed in the direction that I want to be. All right, so these, I used 2 pieces of wire to wire 4 shoots in the last video, and this is one, that's one, and then there's one on the back over here. So those have a little bit of a wiggle to the base of each shoot, and that makes it more desirable for me to consider keeping those. But meanwhile, what's happened here, if I kind of spin this around a little bit, is that I actually have, so here's the other wired shoot, but I've got 1, 2, 3, three additional shoots that came out after I wired the other branches, plus these 2 little ones that are right at the base of this one. And because this is potentially my top and it's on this side of this wound that I made, and I've got now these branches that are volunteering on the other side of the wound, that I'm going to start to make reverse taper in this section. And so I'm trying to decide whether or not I need to, at this point, go ahead and just edit down these branches, keeping branches that are either just on this side or just on this side in order to further the development here without creating reverse taper. I think the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this back a little bit more with my concave cutters, removing this strong shoot that has the 2 little shoots at the base and keeping this one below it for now, because if I slope the cut here a little bit more, it doesn't look to me like it's going to create the same type of reverse taper problem. So I'm going to start by taking off these branches. And you can see here that there's been no rollover or healing on the wound here, and that means that basically I need to cut this back further to get the wound healing started, because none of the wood that the branches are creating is flowing down past this wound at this point. All right, so now I've got this down kind of flush or even a little bit below the base of these branches. So the wood that they're creating should start to flow down and create more callus over this area. And if I turn this to the side, I still have a potential issue in that I have these 2 big branches right next to each other, but I'm going to leave those for right now. I kind of wanted to use this one as the top, so I've wired it, and I'm going to pull it over this way a little bit. Now, because I'm potentially keeping this branch, I am also going to throw a piece of wire on that to make sure that it's not straight. This large branch here might eventually come off, but for now I'm going to leave it. If I give this a little bit of a spin here, You can see that basically it looks like an overgrown mess right now, and that's exactly what we're after. I want to push this thing to grow as much as possible. So I'm going to put it back into the greenhouse. I'm going to add some additional fertilizer, and I'm going to just keep an eye on it and give it plenty of light and heat and space. One thing I will say is that as I was picking it up, I noticed that there were roots kind of coming up out of the soil and then going back down in, which is a good sign that the whole container is filling up with roots. As you may know, these guys can create aerial roots, which I'm not seeing, but the fact that the root actually came up out of the soil and then went back down in was kind of entertaining. That wraps up the third session for this tree. If you have experience with growing out ficus and you want to share it with everyone, put it in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. I wonder what this is going to look like when I get to segment 37. Oh, you guys are still here? All right, let's work on this spruce.